Yeah, it was some guys that were friend of mine, and they were Denker Crips. So they hung out. We went to a party up there, and literally everybody ended up leaving from over there. But you know, it was on a cool level. You know, nothing happened. You know, because, and I guess that's, you know, knowing people. You know what I mean? And people having respect for you, and you having respect for other people. It wasn't always, you know, a problem. I mean, you know, it wasn't always a problem. Some of us got along, no matter what set we was from.
Now, where were the Denker Crips at? What streets were they on?
They was in the 50s. They was in the 50s, you know, I would say over there 54th, 52nd, going like 52nd, and you go up to, you know, like 54th, 55th, 56. Yeah, 56 for sure, because they had some brothers that I know. We good. Anthony Hatchett, you know, a brother, known him for a long time. He was a 56th Street Crip.
Yeah, I've heard his name before.
Yeah, good dude.
So who were the guys out of the Denker Crips? Because that's a set that probably didn't last.
Yeah, it was like my homeboy Dwayne, may he rest in peace. He died of cancer. But it was Dwayne and his crew, all the guys that basically hung around 52nd and the 56th over there, because they called them like Denker, then they said 56th Street Crips. So they was all in the 50s over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, did Swig ever give you the history of who started Van Ness Boys?
Well, from my understanding, you had a guy named Billy Drummer. He was around too, and he was a brother. That brother was like on swole like Tookie. So, and he was an older brother too. So him and Swig used to hang together. So I really, truly, and I talk about it in that, in the second edition of Hood Legends, this thing we started. I talk about Swig. I talk about Billy Drummer. They were the ones that that was actually the founders of the Van Ness gang, Van Ness Boys.
Now, where's Billy Drummer?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know where Billy Drummer is. You know, I haven't seen him since I was a kid, you know. Yeah.
And Swig is resting.
Yeah.
And those guys really never got to tell their story, huh?
Yeah, they never got a chance to tell their story. You know, I had some pictures of Swig. As a matter of fact, the good thing about it is it's a young lady that has his daughter, and she hits me up on Facebook. She got both of the books, you know, so since she got both of the books, she read them, and she talks about, you know, giving them 5 stars, and she wants to see a movie. And that's my goal, to create a movie or TV series out of these books.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that, and we talked about this at the park when the Brims came, Terry Godot and Swig were having a meeting, and Terry Godot, I believe, is still around.
Yeah, I heard that he's still around. You know, yeah, I heard he's still around. You know, I talked to a brother one time, and he said he was still around. I know that Winston Weaver hit me up on Facebook, you know, and but I don't know. You know, a lot of people talk, so I listen. So a lot of times I stay away.
Now, I think you mentioned in the book at that meeting, in addition to Swig, someone named Connie, Donald Ray, Gerald, Mac Miller, and Terry Godot.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's right. Donald Ray, may he rest in peace. Connie is Swig's brother. And as a matter of fact, I talked to Connie just the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, I hooked him up with one of our nephews. You know, one of our nephews is a 6'0", but he's up there doing time in Solano. Yeah, so he's up there doing time. And so I hooked him up, 3-wayed him to Connie. Yeah, Connie was Van Ness. That's the guy I was talking about when we walked in the park, and he was chastising everybody, you know, and he told me I wouldn't gangbanging no more, that I was too cool. I thought I was too cool. It wasn't that. I just felt that, you know, shooting a dude that looked like me or going at a dude that's my neighbor, it didn't sit right with me, you know, but getting that money did. So we flipped over to hustling.
So was Connie his younger brother to Swig?
Yeah, he was a younger brother. Yeah, he was a younger brother, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, You guys pulled up at Bob Simmons' home on Pine Street back in the day.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, in Compton,
Yeah, because you guys had a homie that was staying.
Yeah, that was down the Ray, man. And you had Buddha, Monk Man, Tookie. You know, you had all them dudes, man, that was West Side Crips, and they was giving down the Ray hell. You know, and he wanted to go head up, but nobody had his back. So I came up there, I stepped up there, and then I saw Tookie. So me and Tookie had a conversation, and it's in the book, you know, but it turned out all good. You know, it turned out all good.
Okay. And at that point, when you went up to Bob Simmons' home, you had already met Tookie prior to that.
Yeah, prior to that.
The little sister.
The little sister at Horseman down the street. Yeah. So me and Tookie was cool. And then there's a part in there, and I talk about it in 77 Police Department, where the police was trying to pressure me, and Big Took stepped in and told him to back the fuck off.
Now, did Donald Ray ever actually fight Buddha?
You know what? I think he wanted to fight Monkey Man, but I don't think it happened. Bob wouldn't go for it. Bob was like, if you're gonna fight, you're gonna put boxing gloves on. And he was down with that. So he really didn't go head up that I can remember, but then I do kind of remember a fight. So I don't know whether it was Monkey Man or Buddha, but it was one of them, you know, that he was having a problem with.
Now, not too long after that, Buddha ended up getting killed over there in the Hunnits. Do you remember that? I think it was 1974.
Yeah, I kind of remember that, because, you know, you hear streets talk, so I kind of heard that. Then you had another dude, man, he used to drive a 55 Chevy. And I forget, Erskine, a dude named Erskine. Yeah, he was part of that West Side Crip thing. Yeah. And I think Erskine was up there, but I'm not for sure.
Erskine Jones.
Yeah. I remember all them dudes.
He just passed about 2018 or 2019.
Okay, so see, it's dudes, I remember all them. 4th Avenue, man. Yeah, that was the hangout. That was our spot, man. You know, that was V&G spot right there. You know, that was our spot. So, you know, at any given time, you would see people hanging out all there. You know, if a person really wanted to ride by and do drive-bys, I mean, they'd probably hit 3 or 4 people, you know what I mean? V&Gs in there if that's what they was trying to do.
Yeah, and that's really part of the hood today.
Yeah. It's still there. Matter of fact, I went and visited there maybe about 6 months ago. I had to go in the store. You know, I just went in there and bought some water and spoke to the guy in there, because matter of fact, that store was under our protection. Well, it really was under my protection, and then so everybody else backed off.
Now, back at the Bob Simmons house, you mentioned someone named Treetop.
Oh yeah, Treetop.
That was someone's name, huh?
Yeah.
Later, there's a gang in Compton called the Treetop Pyru.
Yeah, exactly.
I was wondering if there's any connection or just a coincidence.
No, without a doubt, Treetop was a Pyru.
Yeah.
You know, he was a Pyru, but it was profound, because I just thought we called him Treetop because he was like 6'7", you know, and we called him Treetop. But I see why we call him Treetop now, because of Pyru, they have a street in there that represents Pyru. Yeah, Treetop.
They got a lot of streets named after fruits, trees, and they got Pyru Street. Right,
Pyru Street.
But at this time, Treetop Pyru wasn't out yet.
Okay.
So,
but we just called him Treetop because he was so tall.
Do you remember if he was from the east side of Compton or the west side?
It would have to be. I think he was on the east side, because Ray Kelly had a lot of family, and they were on the east side over there in Compton and Watts. So he was off the east side.
And I think you mentioned taking him with you to Bob Simmons' home just to, you know, back up.
Yeah, well, what I did is I called him, you know, because that was his location over there, and I told him, you know, to have our back just in case, you know.
And when was the last time you seen Treetop?
Man, I ain't seen Treetop since the 70s, early 70s, you know, so a lot of those brothers I haven't seen like in, decades.
How much time did you do in juvenile hall, and when you got out, what was your mind state at that time?
Well, the most I did in juvenile hall was probably 3 months, you know, fighting cases. You know, I always beat my case. So that was about the longest I did in juvenile hall, in and out. But my mindset at that time, we were gangbanging, so it was on. We rolled out, we gangbanging. That's what we did. When we get out, we was young. We wasn't thinking about nothing else but representing our set, and doing what we did. I would say in 1978, I got arrested in conspiracy to contribute narcotics, and I was found guilty on that, and I went to prison with an 8-year sentence, 4 and 4 years, but they were ranking concurrent with each other, so it was only 4 years, and at the time I think we did like 8 months on a year, so I did 32 months and I got out. And that's where I saw Melvin Farmer up north, and that's where I was having problems with the dude, Mickey Mo's people, because Felix was going to war with them, and Felix was part of us. He married in our family, and so, me and Tootie couldn't do nothing but have us back. The first prison I went to was Palm Hall in Chino, because that was a holding facility. At the time, it was Chino, then we went to Chino West, and then I ended up going to what was that, Jamestown, because that's where me and Melvin Farmer was, in the Jamestown, and that, which was a blessing, because it ended up being a camp, like fire, training people for fire camp. But I went special skills, because I took up a wood class, a cabinet making class. So I got certified in making cabinets, so I was able to go to a camp and not have to fight fires, stay in camp and kick back.
Okay. So you spent a lot of time with Melvin Farmer at that prison then?
Yeah. Me and Melvin was in there. Yeah, we spent a lot of time together. I mean, I hate to say it, we had fun, We really had fun. Melvin was like the best basketball player ever, in the pen, and all hands down. And I had a heavyweight boxer. And everybody betting cigarettes and everything else on the fights. So, I had a boxer, so I was getting paid that way. Melvin kept a person on the basketball court and kept smashing them. He kept shitting on them, and he got paid that way.
So you actually got to watch Melvin play ball?
Oh yeah, we used to go watch him play, sit in the gym.
What was his moves like?
Man, Melvin was like Kobe Bryant.
Damn.
Yeah, he was a Kobe Bryant. I got to give it to that brother. And I don't brag on nobody. I don't brag on myself, but I got to give that brother his props. Man, Melvin should have never been a gang member. He should have been a professional basketball player. And that's some of the things I talk about us coming out the hood. We're gifted, and some of us are geniuses, but we haven't had the cultivation, to cultivate us and bring us to a higher degree of consciousness and education. If we had that, then we would have never been in prison. We would have never, experienced that kind of thing, because, we would have been senators or presidents or engineers or things like that, doctors, lawyers, had we had the proper education, but we didn't.